Welcome back to Worth Coin, where today we're diving into a mystery hiding right inside your pocket change. 4 ultra-rare UK new 1-penny Elizabeth coins. Coins that look ordinary, but could secretly be worth a life-changing fortune. Some of these pennies, depending on their condition, errors, and rarity, have shocked collectors with jaw-dropping values that reach into the hundreds of thousands, and even higher. Imagine pulling out a small brown penny, the kind most people overlook, only to realize it could be worth more than a luxury home. Stay tuned, because you won't believe what these tiny coins are truly worth. And before we jump in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our community of collectors, so you never miss the chance to discover if the change in your hands is secretly worth a fortune. The first coin on our list is the 1997 UK new 1-penny Elizabeth coin, and at first glance, it looks just like the everyday penny most people wouldn't bother to pick up off the ground. But here's the twist. This particular year holds a secret that has left collectors stunned. Now, the coin we're looking at is in fine condition, which means it has seen its share of circulation. The details are still visible, but the shine of the mint luster has long since faded. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, her face framed with dignity and tradition, while the reverse carries the crown portcullis design, a symbol of the British Parliament. But here's where it gets fascinating. In 1997, the Royal Mint made a major change to the penny. They switched from the older large-size bronze penny to a new, smaller, copper-plated steel version. Many people never noticed the difference, yet collectors did. This shift meant that some of the early small-size 1997 pennies became especially desirable, particularly those struck with sharper details or those that slipped through with minting errors. Now imagine this. A simple coin like this, in average circulated condition, may fetch just a couple of dollars. But step it up to uncirculated, bright red condition, and suddenly we're talking hundreds. Still, the real shock comes when you look at rare error pieces. Off-center strikes, double dies, or transitional errors where the coin was struck on the wrong metal planchet. These have rocked auction houses, with some collectors paying upwards of $75,000 to $100,000 for the right piece. And if you had the perfect storm, a flawless uncirculated error penny from 1997, experts say the value could push beyond $450,000. Yes, that's nearly $500,000 for a penny most people ignored. Think about it. A coin that once sat in a child's piggy bank, tossed into a drawer, or left in the bottom of a pocket, could today be worth more than the retirement savings of an average family. The thrill of this discovery lies not only in the history of the coin, but in the idea that anyone, anywhere, could unknowingly be holding a treasure in the palm of their hand. If you come across a 1997 Elizabeth 1-penny, take a closer look. Check the size. Is it one of the small size issues? Look carefully at the details. Does it have any errors, misstrikes, or unusual metal tones? Every tiny detail could mean the difference between pocket change and a life-changing fortune. Next up, we have the 1971 UK 1-penny Elizabeth coin. Now, this coin marks a historic moment because 1971 was the very first year of decimalization in the United Kingdom. The nation shifted away from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system into the decimal currency we know today. And with that change came the brand new decimal penny. The coin in front of us is in fine condition, which means it has clearly been in circulation, carrying with it 50 years of history. But don't let its worn surface fool you. This coin has a story that can send shockwaves through the collecting world. On the obverse, we see the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, with her regal crown resting lightly above her head. On the reverse, the crown portcullis design makes its first appearance in decimal coinage, a design that has become instantly recognizable. At first glance, it's just another brown coin, the kind you'd see rattling at the bottom of a tin. But when you realize 1971 was a transition year, you begin to see why this penny could carry so much weight among collectors. Here's the incredible part. Millions were minted, yes, but not all were struck perfectly. Transitional errors, such as being struck on leftover pre-decimal bronze blanks, or pieces with misaligned dies, make this coin a true jackpot find. In circulated fine condition, these 1971 pennies may only bring in $1 or $2. But step up to an uncirculated gem, blazing red, fresh from the mint, and suddenly the value shoots into the hundreds. And when we're talking rare varieties like off-metal strikes or double dies, collectors have been known to pay tens of thousands of dollars. But here's the kicker. The most spectacular examples of 1971 decimal pennies, especially those error pieces discovered in pristine condition, have crossed into six-figure territory at auction. Imagine holding one coin, the size of your thumbnail, suddenly being valued at over $500,000. That's more than the price of a lakefront home, all tied up in a penny most people dismissed as worthless pocket change. Think about the shock factor. A coin minted in huge numbers, a coin handed to children for bus fare or tucked away in jars for decades, could turn out to be the golden ticket. And if you're sitting there wondering whether you might have one of these, the key is simple. Check the details. Look for sharp edges, unusual colors, off-center designs, or thickness differences. Because one tiny clue could transform an ordinary 1971 penny into a $500,000 treasure. And here's the best part. These coins are still out there. They've slipped through cracks, tucked into drawers, or lying forgotten in collections. Which means that at any moment, someone could stumble upon a life-changing fortune without even knowing it. Before we continue to the next coin on this shocking list, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join our growing community of coin lovers and treasure hunters, so you never miss the chance to discover the fortune that could be hiding in your very own change. Moving on, let's talk about a coin that often slips completely under the radar. The 1994 UK new 1 penny Elizabeth coin. At first glance, it looks ordinary, even forgettable. The one we're looking at is in fine condition, which means it's been handled, spent, and circulated. The color has dulled, and the edges are worn. But the story this coin carries is anything but dull. On the obverse, the coin features the familiar crown portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maclauff, the third major portrait used during her reign. On the reverse, we see the crown portcullis, the traditional gateway design that had become the hallmark of the decimal penny. Millions of these coins were minted in 1994, which makes most people assume they're worthless. But here's where collectors know the truth. Sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones that hold the greatest secrets. Here's what makes 1994 so fascinating. This was a stable production year, yet errors from this run are known to exist. Off-center strikes, double-struck designs, or even pennies accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchets have surfaced. To an untrained eye, these coins look like mint defects or damage, but to a collector, they're hidden treasure. A regular 1994 penny in circulated condition might only fetch pennies above face value, maybe $1 or $2 at most. But step into uncirculated red brilliant examples, and you're talking several $100s. That's where it gets exciting. But the real shock comes from the rarest errors tied to this date. Some examples of 1994 pennies struck on steel blanks instead of bronze have been confirmed, and they've stunned collectors with values reaching $50,000, $75,000, even $100,000. And the rumors in the coin world suggest that a flawless uncirculated error piece, let's say a double-struck penny on the wrong blank, could command staggering prices well beyond $400,000. Just imagine the tiniest coin in your drawer suddenly worth nearly $500,000. It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? A coin you might overlook as scrap change has the potential to rewrite someone's financial story. And the beauty of this is that anyone could own one. These coins were never locked away in vaults or handed only to the wealthy. They were spent in everyday shops, tucked into pockets, handed to children for candy. That means they're still out there, waiting to be rediscovered. So, how do you spot a valuable 1994 penny? Start by examining the edges. Is the design perfectly centered? Look for doubling on the numbers or letters. Even the tiniest shadow can mean a doubling error. And don't forget the weight. If the coin feels slightly off, you might be holding one struck on the wrong metal. Each of these details could transform an ordinary penny into a life-changing payday. And remember, if 2 coins in this list have already shocked you with their potential value, you haven't seen anything yet. Because the final coin we're about to reveal could be the most unbelievable of them all. Before we move on to that last jaw-dropping penny, make sure you subscribe right now, so you don't miss your chance to discover if the change in your pocket is hiding a 6-figure fortune. And finally, we come to the 1993 UK new 1 penny Elizabeth coin. Now, this is where things get truly shocking, because this year is unlike any other in modern British coinage. The penny in fine condition might not look special at all. It's been used, handled, passed around in shops and pockets for decades. The color has darkened, the edges softened, and most people wouldn't give it a second glance. But hidden behind that worn copper tone is a story that has stunned the coin world. The obverse carries Raphael Maclauff's regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, wearing the royal diadem, her image commanding authority as she enters her 5th decade on the throne. On the reverse, again, the crown portcullis, that historic gateway, a symbol of the British Parliament. To the average person, it looks exactly like every other penny. But here's the truth. The 1993 penny is one of the most sought-after modern issues of all time. Why? Because in that year, the Royal Mint produced far fewer 1p coins than usual. Most were struck only for sets, and very few ever made it into circulation. That tiny mintage difference transformed what looked like a simple coin into a rare prize. In circulated fine condition, like the one in front of us, you might expect only a small premium, a couple of dollars, maybe a little more. But in uncirculated condition, fresh from a mint set, the values climb fast. Collectors will pay hundreds, sometimes thousands, for a pristine red example. And here's where it gets unbelievable. The rare error strikes from 1993 have commanded astronomical sums. Off-metal strikes, particularly those accidentally minted on steel blanks instead of bronze, have been whispered about for years in collector circles. When they surface, they don't sell quietly. We're talking auction prices that shoot past $1,000,000 and keep climbing. But the crown jewel is this. A confirmed error 1993 penny, in flawless mint state, has been estimated by experts at over $600,000. Yes, over $500,000 for a single penny the size of your thumbnail. Imagine that for a moment. A coin most people toss into a jar or leave forgotten in a drawer suddenly worth more than a luxury sports car, more than most people's homes. It's the ultimate hidden treasure. And this is why collectors chase the 1993 penny with such passion. The combination of low mintage, unusual circulation patterns, and the possibility of rare mint errors has turned this coin into one of the most legendary modern finds. If you have one, check it carefully. Look for sharp strikes, unusual coloring, doubling on the lettering, or even a lighter weight that could hint at the wrong metal. Because if your 1993 penny has one of those magic signs, you could be holding a fortune in your hand. And that brings us to the heart of this entire journey. These pennies, from 1997 to 1971 to 1994, and finally 1993, are reminders that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or diamond rings. Sometimes the most ordinary coin, the one sitting forgotten at the bottom of a purse or jar, can change someone's life forever. The thrill, the shock, the possibility. That's what makes coin collecting so addictive. So before you spend that next penny, take a closer look. Because one of these tiny copper coins could secretly be worth a fortune beyond your imagination. And if you enjoyed this journey through the hidden treasures of the UK new 1p Elizabeth coins, make sure you subscribe right now to Worth Coin, where every week we uncover the coins that could turn your spare change into life-changing money. Who knows? The next story might be hiding in your pocket.